ducking.
What's up, everybody? We are the Monks. My name is Hoy, and this is my awesome, beautiful queen,
Jasmine.
She's here. You hear her baby voice?
We're not all the monks, though. We're missing one.
Yeah, well, you seen Dominic, but this is our introductory, or is that the right word?
Introductory.
Introduction video, right?
Sure.
That sounds better. But we told you who we are, what our names are. I'm Hoy, Jasmine, Monk. This is Dominic. We're missing 3 Stacks, aka Hoy the Third. He's taking his nighttime rest, getting his nighttime rest. So we got him in his bed. He's sleeping. So, how long have we known each other? We've known each other since 2007, September 1st to be exact. September 1st, 2007, we met in unlikeliest of places. So to tell y'all, I'm from Detroit, you're from?
Nova Scotia, Canada.
When I first met her, I thought that Nova Scotia was in Russia. It sounds Russian to me, so I thought that she was from Russia when I first met her. How did we meet? We met on Facebook in the unlikeliest of places. There was an application called Hot or Not. And so how that application worked was you had to click on somebody's picture that you thought was cute. So I initially clicked on her picture, not thinking nothing of it. I was going through clicking on other girls' pictures, to be honest. But when I clicked on her picture, I never saw, to this day, I truly believe that God put a blinder on my eyes, because he knew that if I knew where she was from, Nova Scotia, I found that out later, and how old she was, I would have never talked to her. And I'm just being honest. So I clicked on the picture, kept it moving, didn't think nothing of it. But to this day, I swear, it was question marks by her age and where she was from. I can't explain it, but I believe God he knows me, so he knew that I would have never chose her to be,
I was 17.
She was 17 and I was 23. So I already didn't want any issues with any underage women, of course. So I kept it respectful. And that's why I said I couldn't see her, because God knew if I saw that she was 17 at the time, I would have never even approached her. And if I would have saw she was from Nova Scotia, I would have never even clicked on that picture, to be honest. Which we found out later. What did I tell you?
What?
When I told you, I said, I'm going to talk to who I want to talk to here.
Yeah. And I was like, no, you're already mine. I don't care.
In her mind, I was hers, but in my mind, I was thinking about, I ain't going to jail for her or anybody else. So I was like, I'm not going to jail. I'm not dating no 17-year-old, but
The good thing is we were long distance, so.
The good thing is we were long distance and living in 2 different countries, and so it was more so easier. But when I told her that, I said, you could talk to who you want to talk to there, I'll talk to who I want to talk to here, thinking that I would find my wife in Metro Detroit area, but God had other plans. And so along that journey, God began to reveal to me that Jasmine was my wife. And it's crazy because the Bible says that, God will establish every word in the mouths of 2 or 3 witnesses. So I was like, okay, now let's back up. Let me give y'all the whole rundown. Let me give y'all the whole story. And we always will be honest with y'all on this channel. We'll never sugarcoat anything. We'll always tell y'all the truth. So I had started going to the church, the current church that I am now at, which is Detroit World Outreach. I started going there December, New Year's Eve service in 2006. That May of 2007, I slept with a girl. I slept with a woman. I ain't gonna say girl. Let me change my terminology. I slept with a woman, and I had never heard the voice of God so clear, where I understood it was him and I responded. He asked me, he said, "Hoy, what are you doing?" And I said, "You know what? I know it's wrong. I'm going to stay celibate until I get married." So that's June 2007. I mean, May 2007. June 2007, the Bible talks about how the Israelites went before God 3 times a year with a major offering. My pastor at the time, before he became bishop, Pastor Benjamin Jabert, called an offering a victuals offering, and he said, "Write on the envelope what you're believing God for." So the first thing I wrote on there, I said, "I'm believing God to reveal to me who my wife was." Now y'all see the timeline. That was May. I made a decision. June, I sowed seed believing God to reveal to me who my wife was or is. September, remember I met Jasmine. Remember, it was question marks because God knew if I would have gotten my own way and what he wanted to do. So, but fast forward back to where we were. I told her she could talk to who she wanted to talk to. I'll talk to who I want to talk to. And then it was like I couldn't pull myself away from her, no matter how I tried. I ended up sleeping with another woman in January of, that would have been 08, yeah, 2008, because her and I met in September 2007. So New Year's Eve, January, I ended up sleeping with the woman, and it felt like I had cheated on her. Excuse me. It felt like I had cheated on her, and her and I have not, we weren't even together yet, but it just felt like I cheated on her. And we
loved each other, but we didn't make it official.
It definitely wasn't official.
We had just like we had a really strong friendship.
Yeah.
I think that's why our relationship was always so good.
We started off, yeah, because I told her I wasn't talking. I ain't got time for no 17-year-olds. And
I liked the 22-year-olds.
And honestly speaking, you had a scenario where I had a close
encounter with a guy, but I was like, no, I'm talking to someone. I can't do it. Like, I can't.
So she had a scenario where she didn't go all the way. I had a scenario where I went all the way.
Yeah.
But we both felt like we were like cheating on the other person, even though we weren't together. And so I'm gonna really ask God. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say to God, okay, God, you know, what can I, you know, reveal to me if this is my wife? So there was 3 different people. Remember I said every word is established in the mouths of 2 or 3 witnesses. That's in the Bible. It's not my own words. But 3 people confirmed that this was my wife. My mom, my grandma was first. Then my bishop, Pastor Benjamin Jabert, and became Bishop Ben Jabert. And then, who was the last person? Oh, my mom. My grandma was on board since day one. The age.
She called me granddaughter.
Yes, she called her granddaughter from day one. My Bishop Ben, was straight up and down. He'd tell you like it is. He'll tell you the truth. So when I told him about her, she hadn't even came here yet. We hadn't even seen each other in person. And I remember telling him about her after a service. And I said, you know, Bishop, I met this girl, da-da-da-da. He was like, well, have you gone through premarital counseling? And I was like, well, no, we haven't. He was like, well, tell, you know, the head of the marriage ministry that I said, you know, however y'all got to do it, you know, long distance, you know, however you got to set it up, you know, premarital counseling. Now, that was after. Now, let me clarify that, because Bishop Ben didn't know Jasmine's age. That was after we had officially started going together, and that was June of 2008 when I took her to her prom. She was 18. Yeah, she was 18 at the time. I wasn't messing around. So she was 18. Now, to put it in context, after we made it official and I really started to, you know, to pursue her, then I asked Pastor Ben at the time, you know, told him about her, and then he was like, well, have you done premarital counseling? Tell him I said so, however you have to do it, conference call, whatever. Then I asked my mom, I said, Mom, what would you do if I stopped talking to Jasmine? And she was like, well, I have to ask you what's wrong with you. I'm like, well, what you mean? She's like, you gotta know when you got a good thing. What does the Bible say? When a man findeth a wife, he findeth a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. So that's the story of how we met each other. And then from there, once we became official, after I took her to prom.
We would visit. We would, every few months, every 3-4 months, we would go back and forth.
So I got to share a testimony too that came out of that too. So another confirmation that God was working everything together. She wanted me to take her to her prom. So let's get to the prom. And I said, you know what? I'm not flying there to come and take you to your prom. But she talking about she's not going to her prom if I don't take her. Stubborn. So,
Stubborn.
So I say, you know what? Okay, cool. I'm gonna find out what can could we potentially do about this. I had got my tax returns that year, and I had got like $700 and something. And so I looked into a flight to go visit her, and the flight was like $650 or something like that. It was like $650. And so that was round trip from Detroit to Nova Scotia. Was it direct? Direct,
yeah,
no
direct.
Stops, no nothing. It was an hour and 27-minute flight, which shocked me. Excuse me. So I was like, okay. I bought my plane ticket. I went there with $70 in my pocket. Do you hear me? $70. My mom didn't know it at the time, or she would have flipped out that I flew to a whole nother country with only $70 in my pocket. So I'm on the plane. I hear God say, introduce yourself to the lady sitting next to you. I'm like, God, I don't know this lady. If y'all don't know, people may say that I seem like an extrovert now, but I was always an introvert growing up. So he's like, talk to this lady. I'm like, I don't know this lady. I don't want to talk to this lady. Who is this lady? So he says, you got to sit next to her. You might as well introduce yourself. I'm like, okay. Hi, my name is Hoy, da 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 da. To this day, I don't remember her name. But she was an amazing lady. We had amazing conversations. She was real nice. And then she was like, when I saw her, she's like, hope everything works out for you. I told her that I was coming to see Jasmine. She was from Nova Scotia. So I get off the plane and I go to customs. And I go to the customs lady, and she's like, how much money do you have in your pocket? I'm like, $70. Actually, it was $75. I'm like, $75. And she was like, you're in a whole nother country with $75 in your pocket? I'm like, she's like, what are you gonna do for money? I'm like, well, I guess I call my mom if I need to. So she's like, okay. So she let me go through. The guy in front of me, because you had to go through like one more, like customs, and he was like checking your passports and stuff like that. So let me backtrack a little bit. I didn't have a passport before I met her. So I tried to get a passport because, after 9/11, you have to have a passport to, travel internationally. So I didn't have a passport. I tried to get a passport, tried to get it expedited. Couldn't get my passport expedited in time. It didn't come back in time for my flight. Everything was paid for. I showed the guy at the airport the receipt. I said, look, I got my ID. I'm trying to, get on my plane, but I know a passport is required. Here's my receipt showing that I paid for my, passport and have it expedited. He's like, you know what? They just stopped it a couple days ago. You can no longer show your receipt showing that you paid for a passport. So he's like, well, hold on, let me go check in the back. My mom and I stood in the middle of Detroit Metropolitan Airport and was praying for God, praying to God for favor. Do you know that guy came back and said, you know what? They just extended it. You can get on your plane. So I'm definitely, you see how God is working everything out, and he's perfectly orchestrating everything. And then, so I get on the plane, fast forward back, I talk to the lady, I'm back in the airport in Nova Scotia now. And then she The guy in front of me at the second customs, they sent him to the back to get checked and stuff like that. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. So he's like, bonjour, da da da. I'm like, you know, hi. He's like, he really got my passport. He let me through. I was like, woo, I was sweating. I'm like, woo, he let me through. Praise the Lord. And to this day, I swear, the door opens up. It's like a sliding door.
You skipped a part.
Which part did I skip?
When the lady came out.
I know that. I'm gonna let you tell that part. So yeah, I'm not gonna do all the talking. I know you like for me to do the talking, but they want to know you too.
They'll know me by my face.
No. So I get through the door, and I swear, to this day, it was like a movie. The door slid open. Everybody else was like standing still. It was like slow motion, and like everybody was a blur. And I just saw Jasmine moving through the crowd like in slow motion until she got to me.
Was my hair blonde and white?
Nope, it wasn't. But I still remember she had this orange shirt on and these black pants. I'll never forget. And then I remember the first song that played in the car when we got in the car too. But when she came to me, she kissed me, and I was shocked because our first kiss was probably crappy on my end because I was not expecting to be kissed. I was just excited. It was just like how she was just moving through the crowd, like she was like, I'm like, man, like this is a dream, like this is a movie or something. So I hugged her, but she kissed me, and then we hugged, and I'm like, if I show y'all that picture, my face is probably looking like.
No, you were excited.
I was excited. That's what I'm saying. I'm probably stuck like that. She just kissed me on my mouth, and our first kiss was trash, probably. So
it wasn't.
To me, it was trash. So tell the story about the lady. Remember the lady on the plane? She gonna tell y'all.
We're waiting. I'm with my mom. We're waiting, and it's so many people. I've never seen it like that before, but it was so many people waiting. And then this one lady, she randomly walks up to me in the crowd of, I don't know, 50 plus people, and she's like, "Are you waiting for the nice young man from Detroit?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "He is so nice." And my mom was beside me like, "Oh my god," like, you know, because she's like, "This big guy from Detroit's coming." So obviously everyone's kind of like, what to expect, but when she heard that, she was like, "Oh wow, that's a good sign." So
now, mind you, I never showed this lady a picture of Jasmine, but she picked Jasmine out of all these people in this lobby. She walked right up to Jasmine and said, "You're waiting for the guy from Detroit. He's a really nice guy." To this day, I think that was an angel, and I'm just gonna be honest, because for me to never show her a picture of Jasmine and she walked directly up to Jasmine and to tell her that, I think it was an angel. We have been married for 10 years now. We just celebrated our 10th anniversary. So that means we met in 2007. We became official boyfriend and girlfriend. 2008 in June, we went through premarital counseling. So basically we courted for like 2 years. Jasmine flew here for good. We got engaged in 2008. I proposed twice.
Because you wanted to get married in 2009, but it was too soon.
I know I proposed twice. I proposed to her in my room for Thanksgiving. You came for Thanksgiving.
That was the like romantic, sweet proposal. It's private, you know.
But I didn't have a ring.
Full of feelings, emotional. That was like the real deal.
But I didn't have a ring.
That's fine. That was the real deal to me.
So I proposed again once I got a ring. Shout out to my mom for going jewelry shopping. I'm messing up. Jewelry shopping. Jewelry. My mom went jewelry shopping with me, and she broke it down for me, like what's real, you know, jewelry, what's diamonds. She calls them diamonds when they not real diamonds. She calls it the little dust that they break off for the diamonds, and they use those into like those rings and stuff, the big gaudy rings, and it makes it look like it's it's expensive and stuff like that. My mom was like, "No, those are diamonds without the D." So she went with me, and she helped me pick out a ring for her. Then I proposed to her again in the airport. I proposed to her again in the airport with the ring this time. So that goes back to how long have we been married? So we courted from 2008 to 2010. She flew here in June of 2010. without having a visa, of course, because that's why she flew so early to the wedding date, because our wedding date is September 10th, 2010. And so she flew here because you can't, you know, quote unquote, live in another country, especially not the United States, without, you know, a work visa.
We did the fiance one. The fiance one, but they denied it way after we already got married. It never came back in time.
Yeah.
They were like, apply this time, it'll be here by this time, and it never came. So it was like a waste of money, but I was like, we're already married now. Shoot.
So yeah, she flew here that June 2010. We got married that September 2010. Well, I guess Dominic wants to say hi. So,
He's fussing.
well, how many children do we have? You see that we have the amazing Dominic, who was born in August of 2020, and his older brother, Hoy III, was born in September of 2018. The crazy thing is that they were supposed to originally, how many days were they supposed to be apart?
9.
They were 9 days apart by the original due date, right? But Dominic decided he wanted to come, what's that, 15 days? 15 days before.
No, he was born a week early.
No, I'm saying though, his birthday is the 20th. 3 Stacks is the 5th of September.
Yeah. Well, he came
So-
a week early.
So that's like 16 days. He came like 16 days. He came so early that he ended up being a different sign than his brother. Because they were supposed to be the same sign, and they would have been 7 days apart. So, some interesting things about us. What's some interesting things about you? What do you want to share?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, she's nervous.
I suck at those questions because I don't know. What's interesting about me? I'm really shy and I'm camera shy.
Yep.
And I get performance anxiety.
Yes, she does.
And like if I'm doing something and he puts the camera on me, I'll instantly stop.
That's
and
true.
I just freeze up. I don't know why. So if I'm awkward on the camera, that's why. Because it's awkward.
Interesting things about me. I'm a huge movie buff. I can see a movie one time and I will probably remember 75% of it at least verbatim.
All of it.
Line for line. Sometimes I can do the exact, not accents, what's the word? Voices, yeah. Sometimes I can do the exact voices. It just depends. So,
Austin Powers?
yep, groovy, baby. So I'm a huge movie buff, former basketball player, and that's pretty much. Well, as you get to know us, we'll unpack some more things about us. So always be honest with you guys. That's a huge part of our lives, is walking in honesty. Huge part of our lives. Yeah, that's right, Dominic. Huge part of our lives is walking in honesty. You know, living for God.
One more thing though.
Oh, what's that?
We're youth pastors.
Which we'll get into in another video, but we are youth and young adults pastors, but we'll get into that in another video. But we are definitely about integrity, living in integrity. We're about depositing a little bit more of faith, hope, and love into the world. You know, especially we live in a world, you know, that will promote negativity or promote negative things. So we want to try to deposit just a little bit more of faith, hope, and love into the world. We also, you know, have huge hearts and you know, and caring for other people. That's just the way God designed us. So the further you get to, the more you get to know us, you'll get to see more and more about us. Dominic is getting a little upset, but and actually it's perfect timing because we're about to close this video. So we thank you guys so much for sticking around, getting to know us, who we are, where we came from. Well, you'll find out more about that, but who we are as a couple. We'll unpack some more things, who we are as individuals in further, you know, in future videos. So in the comments, you know, tell us what do you want to know about us? You know, what questions do you have for us? Is there anything that you want to ask us? Anything that you want to know about us? You know, put it in the comments. You know, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to click that notification bell. we would definitely love to invite you to be a part of our channel. We're still trying to figure out what we're going to call the people on our channel. We thought about Monk Family. We thought about Monksters. You know, you could say that. What do you think you guys should be called that's following us along our journey in life? So we appreciate you guys. Anything else, Raina? That did?
Yep. I'm on the spot.
See? We're going to have to work about, by the end of this, y'all.
I'm going to be a pro eventually, but right now I'm awkward.
By the end of this, y'all help me get her to not be camera shy and have stage fright. Because trust me, I don't like being in front of the camera either. I don't like.
But you're great at it.
That's God. You see, trust me.
I need God to help me.
You see, trust me. That scenario with talking to that lady, there's been plenty of scenarios like that where God told me to go introduce myself to somebody that I didn't even know. So I say that I was an introvert, but God turned me into an extrovert. So we're going to close this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to click that notification button. We thank you guys. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. God loves you. We love you. Let's become better. All right. Take care, family. Peace out.
See ya.